This is the Dolby Theatre, and just we are in front of also this is the TCL Chinese Theatre, just showing these sides. And, yeah, this is the Dolby Theatre. We see the Dolby Theatre. And then we just get inside it and see how the tour. There is a tour for the Dolby Theatre that I booked, and then we see how it looks inside. So this is the way inside the Dolby Theatre, and there is a guided tour that I'll be taking. So it's going to be super exciting to see Dolby Theatre. Dolby, plays an important part in our lives almost daily, I would say, because many of the they are in movie theaters and movie. And then in the audio, with the noise cancellation technology they introduced a few decades back, and Dolby. I'm climbing the steps. And Dolby is influential because of the movie theaters have the Dolby systems. They started with the Dolby Analog A, in which, if you remember 10-15 years back, there used to be the 35mm and the 70mm film strips. And this sound was encoded on the film strips. 35mm has 4 perforations, and 70mm has 5 perforations in what is called as a one frame of film. And because the films, the video was a series of moving photos or film frames. So that was the technology from the invention of the cinema till about 10-15 years back, when they were gradually replaced by digital projectors. And then what happened was Dolby is one of the main. Played a very important role in the film industry, and of late in our consumer appliances like TVs, laptops, and our mobile phones. My mobile phone is a Dolby Atmos phone. So and then Dolby started out with Dolby Analog and Dolby A, which used to be in. It could be incorporated in between the film strips. And for example, because different theaters use different kind of sound systems, there are broadly four kind of sound systems. So analog is the first wave of sound system, analog waves, and then you had the Dolby Analog, and then after that you have the Dolby SR, the spectral recording, and then the Dolby Digital came in, which is a digital version. So in the digital version, in the reels, the soundtrack runs on the side of the wheels, or in between the wheel sprockets, film reel sprocket. So one reel can usually accommodate up to 3 to 4 different varieties of sound systems, because if the theater is playing, theater is having a Sony SDDS sound system, or a Dolby sound system, or a DTS sound system, or an analog sound system. So the soundtracks were embedded, these 4 soundtracks were embedded in the same, could be embedded actually in the same 35mm reel or the 70mm reel. 35mm reel and 70mm reel is obviously bigger than a 35mm reel, so it is used to shoot grand films and films that require big budget. And so what happens is, on the side of the reel, on one side of the reel, you have the analog the sound going on, and then there are the Dolby Digital DD could be, we're all familiar with the double D logo, right, or the Dolby Digital, and that DD could be in between the reel sprockets. So there are 4 reel perforations, so to speak. 4 perforations in a 35mm and 5 perforations in a 70mm, and for the IMAX 70mm there are 15 perforations, but the reel is horizontal. So when we see that double D could be encoded between the reel perforation, and the Sony system could be on one side. So in that way, all the 4 major kind of sound systems could be incorporated in a single reel. So for example, a theater can only play analog, then the analog part will get activated. If the theater can play only SDDS system, then that part will get activated, will be decoded and playback, what is called a playback. And if the theater has for example, DTS system, then there is a lines. It is called synchronized with the time code, and but the actual sound plays in the CD-ROM. So it's just the lines that synchronize. It's called an SMPT synchronization, and then something, yeah, it's but SMPT code. So for DTS, what used to happen is there are lines, codes running that synchronizes with the time, and it plays on in a separate CD-ROM theater. So for Dolby, these are the four major versions. I mean, there are other versions and other as well, but major versions being the Dolby analog that heralded in the analog cinema where film reels used to go, and the Dolby SR. And then with the digital invention is a Dolby Digital. Then now the latest is Dolby Audio, Atmos, sorry, which came into existence about 10, 11, 12 years back majorly. And then because if you see, the Atmos is a 3D intelligent system actually, because three-dimensional, and theaters that are equipped with Atmos are like the placing of speakers. They can go up to 128 channels of sound and 10 tracks and 128 channels, something like that, the exact number, but yeah, something like that around, and each channel could mean many different things. So that's the reason the sound is like very much distributed when you are in a theater with a Atmos or Dolby system. If a helicopter is flying over us from the behind to this, right, then that soundtrack is we feel it's coming from the back to the front, and then in a war scene, for example, if a glass breaks, someone throws a stone from somewhere far, or he shoots something, the bullet travels, right? So those are like those are the kind of effects that are distributed between the channels, yeah, so to speak, because there is, and because there are a lot of them, the film directors or the sound engineers can utilize these and mix and match, using these multiple channels of sound. So that gives us those spectacular effects in the movie theater. If the movie theater is just right and good, then there is like nothing like watching a movie in a theater. There's nothing can beat if the movie theater is really good and spectacular movie theaters. So that's how this mix and match of sound is done. So the Dolby plays an important, and Atmos is the 3D technology, and the four major generations of Dolby: Dolby Analog, Dolby SR, then the spectral recording, and then stereo recording, and then Dolby Digital, and then the Dolby. Because my laptop is equipped with the Dolby sound system. My TV is both Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision. Yeah, then they ventured into the Vision part of it, which is called the Dolby Vision. And so today my TV is Dolby Atmos plus Dolby Vision. So we look for the double D and the Dolby sound when we purchase a great music systems or TVs or laptops or mobile phones. So they permeate our lives every day. So it's super exciting to be seen. Yesterday I was just right in front of the Dolby Labs office in Burbank, California, and that was like I was just walking past after completing my Warner Brothers tour, and then it was so nostalgic to be seeing the office that creates all these products that we use in our daily lives and that impact our daily lives in a way. Yeah. It's super iconic to be in LA, the entertainment capital of the world, or the film capital of the world. This is Los Angeles, Hollywood, and we are just in front of the Dolby Theatre. This is the the kind of the area which is called Hollywood. Obviously, there are the Center for Films in the. So this is the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Dolby is a part of our everyday lives. Dolby Atmos in our mobile phones. Every day we use it in our laptops, mobile phones, and our TVs and the consumer electronics. So this is the Dolby Theatre. That's a Chinese theatre. We get into the Dolby Theatre and explore the parts of the theatre in greater detail.